Welcome to the Corporate to Coach podcast. I'm Pamela, a former corporate professional turned certified life and business coach and mentor. If you're ready to sign clients, grow your soul-led coaching business, and shed the employee identity so you can step fully into business ownership, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Corporate to Coach podcast. Today, I have a very special episode for you. We have another client feature, and today I am bringing on one of my dreamy long-term clients, Gena Speakmon, who I have worked with since November 2021. So we have gone through multiple rounds of one-to-one together. Gena has joined many, if not most, if not all of my programs and recently came to completion, and we wanted to share with you about that story, about her journey of going from corporate to coach and how her business has started and grown and evolved, and some of the things that she has achieved, and wanted to share with you about her experiences of starting and growing her soul-led business. So without further ado, Gena, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell our audience what you do?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. This is so fun. Wow, 4 years. That's wild. It went very fast. Yeah, so I am a personal and executive coach. I work primarily with people that are in a major transition in their life, that are driven to up level and go to that next level version of themselves. It's most of my clients are like, I'm ready for what's next. I don't know what it is, or I know what it is and I don't know how to get there. It could look like maybe having a side hustle, starting their own business, up leveling their role in an organization. So it's taken a lot of wonderful different transformations, but the focus is really in that transition.
So good. And just for clarity, I know that you work with men and women and such a range of ages
Yes.
as well.
Yes, I do. I do. It's like I've worked with quarter life crisis situations, and then also, which is a real thing. Which is a real thing.
Yeah, I
It
can
sounds
confirm.
yes, I mean, yes. And it's so funny because I just don't even believe in that like midlife crisis. It's like every decade of our life is there's a transformation, and it's not a crisis. It's an expected transformation. We just need to like adjust to that. But yes, I do. And I love that. I love that diversity, and that every one of my clients is presenting something different, and we follow a very similar coaching program. So I mean it speaks to coaching and what coaching really is when it comes down to it. I lean more into the identity aspect of the transformation as well. So that's why I work with people who are starting their business, or like, and it isn't just people who are want to be entrepreneurs or want to have a side hustle. It's really what is that identity? How do I tap into that version of myself that gets me through this transition? And that's the heart of where my coaching takes place.
Yes. Yes. And knowing your journey, it's so much of what you went through as well. Such an identity shift.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my whole life. It's like, I remember when we started, I thought, well, why don't we just go with my life? Like it's been lots of transitions, intentional ones. I mean, I really, that's who I am at the core. And that's why that was really exciting when we started working together and identifying who I wanted to serve, or what felt most natural to me. And then I remember getting to the point where I thought, well, our coaching together shifted so much in my life. I mean, it changed the trajectory of my life. I thought, I want everyone to feel the way I feel. And that's when I leaned into the coaching and really started it. And we started working together to build my coaching business.
Yes. So, for everyone listening, Gena joined on the Career Change program, which was my first signature offer. And when you came to the table and shared with me that obviously you were thinking about a career change and it was figuring out what that was, you secretly you secretly knew, but also I don't know, was it a knowing or was it a uncovering of a truth that was always there?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was a little bit of both because I think that, and this is where that coaching relationship really helped me is kind of clearing that noise, the fear, the self-doubt, and the unknown of something that I had always looked at from afar and thought that's really me. And I had even like taken I was a board certified therapist and I took a coaching class in 2004 that actually that taught you how to move from being a therapist to being a coach. And I didn't pursue it and I wasn't ready. And then when when I reached out to you and I found you all the way in Australia, it's like around the world because I'm in the United States. Um, I thought this is so wild. This is really wild. And I just had that inner knowing I needed a coach. And everything that you had said, I remember getting on your website and thinking, that's who I need to speak to. I don't know where this is going to go, but I just intuitively felt like this is my next step. And that's all I need to know is what my next step is, and this is
Mm.
it. And then from there we just stepped into it and we stepped into it hard. We ran into it. It wasn't just stepping, it was running into it. But yeah.
Ah, and I love the way that you embraced it as well. Like when you started, and maybe you can share a bit more about this, but when we say you hadn't started your business yet, it literally was you were a career woman, you were a corporate woman at the time. Well,
Oh yeah.
you still are, but that's not for too much longer based on what
Yeah,
based on our discussion
I know.
earlier. But you can share
Yeah.
more about that later. But yeah, you're a corporate woman with an established career that you'd been in at that point for over 10 years, I think. You'd been with a
Mhm.
startup and really evolved the organization. And coaching wasn't yet on the books. So going
Yeah.
from zero, day zero in your business, right?
Yeah, I remember when I first met with you, I will never forget it. And, just I might get emotional because it was really emotional. I remember, and I actually had a different chair that I'm sitting in now. I did get rid of it on purpose for this reason. But I remember the one thing, we were talking about, what's the possibility? What did I want? I said, I don't even know what I want. I was working 70 to 80 hours a week. And I said, I don't know what I want. All I know is I don't want to be sitting in this chair 16 hours a day a year from now. And so I gave myself a year and I thought, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm going to like, I really, there, I knew I needed to change. I knew I needed change. And then from there, we worked from that point. So when I came to terms with coaching, when I realized that, because the career change program was really good and I explored so much. I explored having a brick and mortar. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that or not. But
I
I thought,
do,
oh, I'd always wanted
yeah.
a coffee shop. Kind of
Yeah.
went through all of the fantasies, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I would be so bored. I can't do that. I had like a lot of romantic notions. But then when really it came to it, and I said, Coach, so we really started where what's my training look like? Where do I go for training? Where should I go for training? I mean, you and I started working from okay, what's my next step now that I think I want to explore this?
Mm.
And what training program fits me? So we really started building this business from way before it even began, way before training ever began,
Yeah.
way before the conception. And that is what is really powerful. I will say this is that one of the transformations that I got to go through with you was really, it was a huge identity shift from that corporate persona and identity that really defined me. And I work with a lot of clients on this too, where especially ones who leave corporate where you have an identity, your title, like you can walk into a room and there's an illusion. It's a self-perception illusion that when I say what my title is, people understand my worth, or people understand who I am, or people easily understand. And all of a sudden, I was just like, well, how do I walk in the room? How do I walk in the room without that title? How do I walk in? And I'm not saying the title itself, I'm saying like what you do, because and that's how embedded that my identity was with what that work was and what my value was. And so really with you, we actually deconstructed my current identity to reconstruct my coaching identity,
Mm.
which was really, now that I'm saying that, that's really powerful. But that really is what happened. That was a significant part of our first phase. We had many phases, but that was a big part of that first phase as I was going through training and trying to envision like, what does this business look like? And professionally, this is what I do. I'm an expert in helping businesses, in their processes, in their systems, their frameworks, revenue, make profit, decrease costs. I mean, this is what I do as a consultant. And also now, an executive in a technology company. So you would think I would have known that right away, but I think that's what is really powerful about anyone who is going from corporate to a coaching business is that there is so much evidence that you can have that business, but without our coaching, I don't think I would have ever gotten there. I know I would never have gotten there, number one, as fast as I did, or or in a way that really embodied a much more self-actualized identity.
Mm.
And and in the sense of that it really grounded, I really became grounded in confidence with my direction that I was taking. I went from not being able to say I was a coach to speaking with clarity, not just about like who I am, but like what I believed in came to surface
Mm.
all of a sudden, like who, like just an authentic level of me and how I wanted to serve people through coaching really came about through our work together. I mean, that was a pivotal. And another aspect was really living with a deeper sense of agency,
Mm.
where every day, and I mean, Pamela, I was a whip. I was a work in progress. I really was, because I had this such a corporate identity of how I did things, and really felt like they were so intentional, and really it was the structure around me that kept them in place. And all of a sudden you have your own coaching business and that structure's not there.
Mm.
And so we worked on that quite a bit. And I had a lot of like self-doubt and fears that really, and you really didn't just, I think that's one of the things that was powerful with the one-on-one coaching, was that it wasn't just a matter of like going, oh, self-doubt, take an action. It's like we dove in deep, brought it to the surface. It was extremely painful and it was really raw.
It is. It
And
is
you
though,
were
isn't
so
it?
patient. You were so patient with me. And then it was firmly, now what's the action we're going to take?
Mm.
And that's where I am today, is the ability that I like designed this business and a life that is every day there. I lead with my intentions and my values, my beliefs, and that personal and professional are so nicely woven in a very healthy embodiment of that kind of like self-actualized identity. And I
Mm.
and I do think that's why I lean into with my clients the importance of really not just starting, but where we work together with that foundation of identity,
Yeah.
and really understanding, what, with that purpose and that fulfillment, and what that true authentic identity is. And I don't use authentic lightly. I know it's a buzzword,
Mm.
but for me it's that genuine, self identified person that when you're going through a transition, it does define your identity. And that's the moment you can take it. And you were right there in that moment for me, and it just changed the trajectory of my life. And so now as I'm saying it, it's actually brought it full circle, and it makes complete sense why I lean into that a lot into my programs. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And one of the things that I absolutely adored about witnessing your journey is the way that you were able to come into your own, find that clarity while still evolving and holding down the corporate role that you're currently still in. Like this evolution and this transition was happening while you were still there. And that is a lot to take on. You already, I mean, at the time you had a full-time job and then you transitioned into part-time. We worked on the negotiation of that and figuring out something that would work for you, which was also a big shift to create time for your business. But then there were so many shifts in corporate that actually strengthened your entrepreneurship and
Mhm.
and you were able to bring that, like you say, bring it full circle, but bring it through every area of your life, which I really respected about you. And I think that's what made it so effective. It was that, yes, you were building your coaching business. Yes, probably I would say 70 to 75, maybe 80% of our sessions were about the coaching business. Yeah, there were the odd session
Mhm.
that was just purely about things that were happening at work and situations to navigate and challenges to navigate. But every time you didn't just bring it into your coaching business, like you say, it was an identity, and identity is with you wherever you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where, um, yeah, that's, I distinctly remember almost like that is where that mentorship coach balance
Mm-hmm.
that you've always done so well really supported me in that journey and in different ways at different times. So at the beginning, it was how do you go from 80 hours a week to just like creating really good boundaries? And so that was our first step. That was the first phase. Like, just let's
Yeah.
get real with this. Like, what do you want? What do you want to change? Because some people do that, honestly. I mean, there was a time when I was good with it. I was energized. It wasn't I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not like supportive of it, but I'm just not judging it. I just think that there are just certain points. And for me personally, that point was I'm at the end of this. I'm really exhausted. This isn't good for me. So we had that phase. Then once it was part-time, it was how do you stay in this and also stay focused and not distracted on your coaching business. And that mindset to keep me in a business that, I mean, it was a really short amount of time. It was probably 3 months that we went through that phase, like maybe 4 months where we went through that transition. It was quite quick. But I remember thinking, that was one of the most empowering parts to say, I'm in this environment that is totally overwhelming me. I'm not setting good boundaries to, oh my goodness, I have really good boundaries. I actually feel energized in this environment and I'm okay with it. And guess what? I'm getting paid and I'm getting big benefits. So that was just empowering for me. Just to know that I changed. Nothing in my environment changed.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos was still the chaos. The intensity was still the intensity. Urgency was still there. Deadlines were still there. It's the same people. Nothing changed except me and my perception.
Yes. Oh, so, so juicy. And
Yeah.
and if anything, the company you work for has gone through so much evolution as well, which is an exciting time for the
Yes.
company. And you're such an
Yeah.
important role there. I know
Yeah.
navigating their business priorities and still staying in integrity with their vision and the CEO's vision, and then you having your coaching business that, like, let's be
Hmm.
honest here, and I'm sure people listening will resonate. When you have a coaching business, you kind of just want to work on your coaching business 24/7,
You
and you
do.
wish that that was all you had. And yet the reality is, and one of the things I'm so passionate about is empowering coaches who aren't in a financial position in their business to rely on it fully because they haven't, even if the passion is there, because the passion was there and is there, and even if the ambition is there, if you haven't built the business bones, the business fundamentals, as I call it, and if you haven't listened yet, listen to the build your coaching business module a few episodes back. But if you don't have those foundations in place and you're still learning how to, what your offer is, what your positioning is, who your ideal client is, who you want to work with, and building confidence in just signing a client, getting confident with the consult process and the sale process, until you have those business bones in place, I think it's crazy to give up your financial security and then put all that pressure on your business before the business is
Mhm.
ready. So my work is about empowering individuals in corporate to stay in corporate for as long as they can while it still
Mhm.
serves them, so that they have more runway in their business to get those foundations in place. And not just in terms of the strategy and the what to do, but that confidence in yourself that you know what to do and that you
Mhm.
can hold your own. And it's no surprise to me that now you're in a position where we used to have sessions around the consult process and having a client sign up with you because it's just in
Yeah.
such alignment and because you held that sales call in such a high integrity client led way. Imagine if you were learning that and you had all the pressure of making payments every month. You don't want to put on pressure that is unnecessary. So empowering yourself to be able to stay
Yeah.
in corporate is a really powerful gift to give yourself. And it makes you a powerful coach as well, because you ended up having so many clients who were entrepreneurs who needed to have better boundaries, who needed to
Mhm.
go through their own identity shifts. So every
Yes.
piece of work you're doing on yourself is always making you a better coach for your clients as well.
It does. And even the clients that I have that are not in business, I leverage that experience because the truth is it can apply, it transfers, it's that um we all have things in our life that we do that support our families, or that aren't always like compensated financially like work. But there's things we do with our extended families, there's things we do in our communities, things like that. And I honestly, it opened up and tapped into a part of me, almost like a more youthful part of me that was like, oh, yeah, I've got capacity for this. I've got capacity for this. And so I really leverage that with every client, whether they were in business or not. That experience, it comes through when I'm working with my clients. Like they feel it, they know it. And people who are in consults with me, they know I've had that experience because I'm bringing it to them. And I think I'm a better coach by actually doing that, to be honest with you. I think I'm a better coach, and I also think that you hit it too, Pamela, that it alleviated unnecessary financial strain, and it allowed me to focus on my business when that was purely about my business and not about making money.
Mm.
And I know people out there are going to say, well, you're not in business if you're not making money. But remember, Pamela and I were working together when I was still in training. And I was just like, how do I get a client? Oh my gosh. Like I'm going to ask my neighbor, do I ask him when I'm walking? How do I get clients? That initial like, whoa, I'm not, okay, this is new. This is very, very new. And that's the thing too with the program, was that it allowed me to create my own business model. And that was, to put the structures in place, my systems in place in a really simple way. I mean, it was so simple. Like, I remember my first paid client and, the group that we went through, and all of us, like a group of brilliant women, all had really different business models that applied your approach, your structure, but it looks different for each one of us, because I think that's the unique thing about also what you offer, is that ability to meet me where I am and me build a business with that. And so it's much more authentic. And when something is authentic like that, it's genuinely attractive, and you will make more money. It's more profitable. So because when
Absolutely.
something's authentic, everyone feel, it's just a much more natural relationship. And every client you have is a relationship. And so when you're meeting them in an authentic way, I mean, that's it. That's where that connection and that electricity begins between two humans.
Mm,
Is, you're standing in front of them authentically. And imagine like having a business model that represents that. And that's what I built alongside also, being in my corporate gig. But yeah.
okay. So tell me, Gina, what are you happy to share about where you are today in your coaching business so people can fully understand
Um,
the evolution of where you've come from, where are you now?
This is great timing. I love this. This is perfect timing. It's so synchronistic. So right now, 2 weeks ago, I gave notice to my 9 to 5, and you know what's so fun? Whenever I say 9 to 5, I just I've never worked 9 to 5, but yes, I did. I gave notice, and I it took me, we talked about this and about this transition and the timing of this transition. Um, and in fact, I mean, it's been woven throughout all of our engagement, because at some point, and that was the power of the one-to-one coaching, is at some point, I would always need to deal with, you know, that mindset of I want to walk away right now. Like because
Yep.
because you somewhere in me, I believed walking away would actually help me to do things that I didn't do through like self-doubt or fear or like avoiding something, avoidance. I had to deal with avoidance there for a while. And so, it was just really powerful to overcome those things without needing to leave. And so I think organically I came to the point where just very calmly, as if it were the next step I took, it's time to leave.
Yeah.
And built the business to a certain point. I feel really confident with my business model, the structure, and I feel like leaving my corporate job right now is actually going to help me to up level my business in a way that that I've envisioned. And it's not because um, I haven't tried. It isn't because I haven't focused on that, but it just is more like an organic transition of this is what my business needs. I mean, that's one of the things you used to always ask me, what does your business need? What does your business need? And for the very first time, I can honestly say my business needs me to make this transition. It's time.
So
So,
good. And that is such a shift because most people start working with me or just coaches I speak to who are in a 9 to 5, hours dependent, is
yeah.
that yeah, they feel like it's that illusion that more time is going to solve your business problems. And they also feel like it's more of an escape than running towards. And
Mm,
that push and pull factor is important, and it's not that you're not running towards your business, but if you are running away from the 9 to 5, and as I always say, there's always a small print, like I do not tolerate workplaces where you're being bullied or harassed or discriminated against. But if it's actually just a case of because if that's the case, then get another job and get out of there quickly for your own safety. But this wasn't the case. As with most of my clients, it's actually just lack of fulfillment, lack of satisfaction. It's not purpose led anymore. And yet, there was once upon a time where you wanted the career that you had and you worked really hard to get there, and you're a really valuable asset to your organization. And leaving is more of a retaliation than it is a moving towards your coaching business.
yeah.
And that, I think that distinction really matters, and it can feel very real in the moment, and it is very real. When you want to leave something because it isn't serving you or you're not happy or fulfilled there, then of course getting out is all you
Mhm.
see. But when we shift that, then it means that you get to truly leave on your terms and truly leave in a way that is going to serve your business better in the long run.
Yeah.
That's how I see it
And
anyway.
it's, yeah, no, I agree 100% with that because um, that is so poignant because when I made the decision to leave, I felt like, wow, I'm really letting go of a lot.
Mm.
And if I would have left a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, I would not have felt that way.
Yeah.
I would have been retaliating. I would have been like, and I encourage people to stay where they are, to be empowered in that environment. Because if you leave, and I've worked with people who actually want to go to a different career. And what I say is that if you cannot be in that environment, like you said, if there's bullying or if there is any kind of discrimination, that's different. But whatever is happening, whatever it is that is created around you that is causing like exhaustion, overwhelm, lack of boundaries, anything like that, you're just going to take it to the next place you go.
Mm.
And then you're going to end up there. You're going to get that dopamine hit for the first few months. And then it's going to come back to you as if like, oh no, I've done it again. Why do I keep attracting something that's negative?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take those things into my coaching business. And so I think when you pointed that out, you're so right. I love the fact that I have this a little bit of like sadness and nostalgia as I'm leaving my corporate job because I worked really hard to get to where I was. I've had like amazing accomplishments, experiences, and I've developed expertise in so many different ways. And I'm so grateful for it. And the people I've met and the places I've been are just really, really beautiful. And I'm glad that I can leave with that.
Yeah.
That kind, that kind of synergy. And I want to bring that into my business as opposed to, like you said, like retaliating, going, I'm done. I'm done with this. That's not me anymore. I can't take it. And, I feel in control and I feel so much, that is why I said I feel just grounded in confidence with my direction because of that and because of the way we intentionally designed that, by the way. No, I think the only thing I would say is, and I don't know if I've ever told you this or not before, maybe in different ways, but to me, like because we've talked about this and I was like, oh my gosh, how do I talk about 4 years of like so many powerful moments and changes? I will say the one thing I think about you every day with, and it's become a habit and one that I'm really committed to teaching every person I talk to, coach with, is follow through with what you say you'll do for yourself.
Mm.
Follow through with what you say you do for yourself. We go to work on time. They tell us to be there at a certain time, we're there. They tell us we need, like, our environment tells us, we need to produce something or we need to have a presentation that does this and this is the outcome. And then we in our own businesses say, here are the goals that we want, or here's what we want to happen, and then we don't do it.
Mm.
And I think that was, time and time again, having worked with you for so long, you stayed with me. You stayed with me. And that's the thing I take away with, is that it's like, I'm committed to following through with what I say I'll do for me and for my business, the
Mm.
same way I would in anywhere else in the world. But I think that was a huge takeaway. But yeah, a little verklempt. I'm a
Thank you.
little emotional. It's 4 years of my life. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
I know, I know. I feel it too. You know I adore you, Gina.
Well, and I
I love
adore
our
you. I
sessions.
mean, I just, I am so like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be here without Thrive, without the different, I mean, just all the different programs that you have. I mean, there really is so much to say about them. That is really difficult to conceptualize it, especially after 4 years of like transforming into like a full-fledged independent business.
Yeah.
Like that's a powerful story.
There is one thing I would actually love to ask you to just to share whatever comes up for you as I present
Mhm.
it. But I've noticed that when I speak about business on the podcast and I interview my clients for the podcast, I get so focused on the results and the tangible things that and the impact that it's had that I don't feel that I'm very effective at speaking about the spiritual side of the work that we do. And
Mm.
I know it's something that underpinned a lot of what we did as well. As much as there was the strategic and the tactical, the practical, corporate stuff, the business strategy, the messaging, the consults, the selling, like, all the things you need to have to start and build and grow a coaching business. One of the
Mhm.
things I really loved about our work, and I do with many of my, not all my clients, but many of my clients to greater or lesser degrees, is connection to self, not just from an identity perspective, but connecting to our spiritual practices, connecting to the magic and wonder and serendipities and coincidences and the intuition of what it is to build a soul-led business, to really connect to our purpose and our soul's calling. If it resonates with you and that feels true to you, if it does, would you share about your experience from that side of the coaching?
Mhm. Oh, I love this because that's the thing about spiritualism. It's kind of like when you really love someone, and I'm going to say this, you might want to cut it out, but when you make love with someone that you really love, you never talk about it.
Yeah.
But people always know you're happy. People
Yeah.
always know you're in love. People
Yeah.
always know it's like, wow, what's that energy?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with us. And I do think, I think that's also what kept me with you too, was actually the spiritual component. And I do think when I think of you as a master coach, actually for and that underpinning it, actually, because I think you get to every level. And to me, that spiritual level is so deep, and it cuts across so many of the things that we think get in our way, the illusions that we can talk about brain science all day, but there's also that level of spiritualism that um, the illusion of fear, the illusion of doubt, the illusion of, what is successful, what's big, what's not,
Mm.
being visible, not being visible, things like that. And really getting down to the fact that, our existence makes us worthy enough. The fact that we are here is why we're worthy. And so I get choked up because I think that's something that you brought out.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, you're right. The analogy was beautiful. With
I thought
great
you'd
depth,
appreciate that.
you don't necessarily speak about it, and it's hard to put into words, right? And
Yeah, it is. It is.
yeah, and there were sessions, and it's like this with many of my one-to-one clients as well. There were sessions where yeah, sometimes, as I said earlier, a small percentage of the sessions were just about corporate. All of the sessions really were about growing your business, and there were some sessions that were purely about the spiritual side, connecting to, gosh, and it doesn't do it justice to say this, but I'll give an example, like connecting to a morning routine again, but not
Oh,
just from a action step perspective or from a I must do a morning routine. And I think I bring that up because it's come up with a number of my clients recently, is this pressure to do something like a morning routine, or this pressure to even do anything spiritual and make it regular in your day-to-day life, and
mm,
as if that's going to create an outcome. And you cannot approach it that way, but when it just is, and you're called to it and you find your connection to it organically and authentically, that's when things like a morning routine and a spiritual practice or a future self meditation, whatever it is that you do, suddenly has a major impact in your life. And one of the things I really adored about witnessing your journey was the way that we regularly came back to spiritual practices and deepened them, and your
Mhm,
coffee walks, your journaling, these things you
mhm,
always did so beautifully and approached with so much reverence. And
mhm.
what was rare about you that I really always admired about you, and I learned from you as well, was that you never seemed to approach those things in order to get something from them. You only ever approach them because in the moment it was about who you get to be when you're engaging with them. And then as an outcome
Right.
of that, it creates a byproduct of feeling calmer, feeling less anxious, being more present, being able to implement those boundaries that you spoke of, being able to navigate the evolutions and challenges that were going on in corporate. And I don't think I ever said that to you, but I've witnessed that in your journey with just who you are as a person and how you approached your spiritual practices. And it was still something we coached on quite extensively. And I think it was a really, from my perspective, it seemed like a really powerful part of your journey as well.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And obviously it is because I get emotional. I get emotional because I remember when we first started working together, I had let go of so much of that. I mean, some of my clients are going for $1.5 million. They're financial advisors. They're very focused on money. But I am telling you, it is a spiritual journey. It is because how do you deal with failure? How do you not allow the ego to overcome? And it is such a wonderful witnessing to see someone take something that is pure ego, bring in that spiritual side that they desire as well, and reach even more success. Because again, when you tap into the spiritual threads, and it is one of the things too, I will say this is that it's not so much about what it is you do, it is that you do something that that is aligned with you, that fits for you. So, like you said, I go on a coffee walk. I walk. I mean, when something happens, it's like walk it off or walk through it or walk for it or just walk. Like, and now it's like it's almost like my legs take me out to walk and I'm already walking. I'm like, oh, yeah, 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 I gotta go. My legs know I need to go because I'm in nature. I'm tapping. I have a rhythmic tapping. It's meditative walking. It's a way for that. And I also meditate in the mornings as well. It is something that I think also sidles really perfectly with coaching because truly for me, it's a partnership, it's a relationship first and foremost. And it is about me being as neutral as I can possibly be when it's most called for in my coaching sessions. And in order for me to do that, I really need to become, very clear and centered and grounded. And then I can get really clear on what's happening with my clients as well.
And one of the big things that I teach inside Thrive is the importance of being embodied in the work as a coach to become that coach of choice. Because how can we sit in front of a client and ask them to do things or hold a standard for them if we're
Yeah,
not holding it for ourselves? And you truly embody that. And I just admire that so much in you.
thank you.
There is a question I would love to ask you for the audience,
Okay.
on behalf of the
Yeah.
audience. If there was thing that one piece of advice, I know we're coaches, we don't really give advice, but if there was one piece of advice that you would give a coach who they've started and they're either on the edge of transitioning out of their 9 to 5, or they just want to grow their business, sign more clients, what piece of advice would you give them and why?
Yeah. To me, it encompasses any advice you would give, and it is you need a one-on-one coach. You need a one-on-one coach. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that sounds, I mean, honestly, I've really, I've been asked that question before by new coaches. It's like, what's one thing? I could tell you, don't sweat the small stuffs, take an action. I can tell you all those things, but I truly, truly, and for me, of course, I would say you, and I say that to you, but I also say it to other business coaches, by the way, as well. Um, and here is why: first of all, um, I don't know how you coach without having one-on-one coaching
Mm,
others, or not just one-on-one. You can have group coaching, just coaching. I guess I should say coaching. But
mm,
I think when you are in a transition of up leveling your business or defining it, a program like Thrive is really important. It gives you a partnership that is very, very supportive. And I think that is something that I work with entrepreneurs. It's one of their biggest challenges. I tell them, you need to build a cabinet. Let's get your cabinet together of the people who are on your team, because you've gone from corporate and now you're by yourself. And I've never liked the name solopreneur. I think I wrote something on my blog about it as well. But because no one I work with is solo. You never do this alone. Like, you're not a success when you're by yourself. You
yes.
bring all the people who have helped you with you. And to have a coach who is purely focused on your success, spiritually, professionally, personally, holistically, as a woman, is, I just I think that's it.
Mm,
Because once you have that, all the other small things you need come into place.
yes. Oh, beautifully said. Thank you. Okay, speaking of blog, where can people find you?
Yes.
Where is this blog and how can people work with you?
Yes. So on my website, Gena Speakman, GenaSpeakmon, .com, you can go there and you can find me. You can either sign up for my email, or you can dive in and have a consult with me. I spend an hour on the consults. I like to really talk about where you are, where you want to be, what your next steps are. My goal in a consult really is anyone who's ever had a consult with me, they walk out of there with what their next step is, whether they work with me or not.
Mm,
That's my goal. That's my commitment to others. So
I love it. And highly recommend your email list as well. I love your emails. You know I do.
thank you.
I
Thank
look
you. I
forward to
love
them.
writing them. Thank you.
I'm still subscribed. I absolutely love it. So get on that email list and book that consult at genaspeakmon.com. I'll put the link in the show notes as well so people can find you and
Thank
connect
you.
with you. Because you've worked with coaches, I know most of my audience here are coaches. You've worked with coaches too, and not
I
just
have.
entrepreneurs
Yeah.
outside of coaching, but coaching business owners as well in their coaching journey. So connect with Gena ASAP. Gena, thank you
Thank
for the
you.
4 years together. Thank you for
I love
joining
it.
me
And there's
today.
more to come.
No.
Are you kidding? You don't stop a good thing, Pamela. Trust me. That's one thing. That's,
Yes.
if it works, keep going, keep
Keep
using
doing
it,
it.
keep
Keep
doing
doing
it.
it. Thank you so much. And to my listeners,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I know this episode will be valuable for you. So thank you for tuning in. I'm trying to get better at asking you to leave a review, a couple of stars, a comment if you're able to let the algorithms know to help let more coaches find this so that they can get the support they need. And if you want to work with me, then you can book your own consult as well. Drop me a DM at Coaching with Pamela. I'll also put the link in the show notes, but drop me a DM on Instagram at Coaching with Pamela, and we can also arrange a consult if you'd like to explore one to one, or check out my website at coachingwithpamela.com to find out how else you can get supported with me. So, thank you again, Gena, and thank you everyone for listening. I will
Yeah.
see you in the next episode.